This is topic C on page 115, aligning cell contents.
So far, you have formatted worksheets by applying formatting to text and numbers. You may also want to consider making your worksheets easier to read and interpret by controlling where data is displayed within cells. Would it be easier to view row totals if the numbers were displayed to the left or the right of the final cell? Should a worksheet title be displayed centered along the top of the worksheet or all the way to the left? The answers to these questions and more will largely depend on your particular needs. Familiarizing yourself with the text alignment options available in Excel will prove to be yet another asset in keeping your organizational data orderly, readable, and functional. So first we're going to be taking a look at our alignment options. Excel provides you with the ability to control where your content appears horizontally and vertically within your worksheet cells. By default, Excel aligns numeric data to the right side and along the bottom of worksheet cells, and textual data to the left side and along the bottom of worksheet cells. So you can see here, any of my text entries go to the left margin of the cell, and all of my numeric entries, dates are numeric entries, you can see go up against the right side of the border of the cells. But you can see just by taking a quick look at years with company and pay scale code, when you have numeric and textual data right next to each other, sometimes the lines can get blurred and it just becomes a big jumble of numbers and letters. So it's good to move your alignment over. So let's say maybe we wanted our pay scale code to be centered in the column. We can select all of column I, and on our home tab in our alignment group, here we have our 3 buttons. These are for horizontal alignment. So right now, by default, again, textual entries are aligned to the left. We can align that to the right, but then it's going to become kind of jumbled up with the bonus column. So if we center align this, now everything has some space in between that there. Okay, so it's good to have, like I said, some empty space between the columns there. So left alignment, center, and right alignment. Above that, we have our vertical alignment. If I made column 1 a little taller, you can see by default everything is aligned to the bottom. We can also, let me select the column, we can align these to the top, or we can middle align them. Maybe we want to middle align them and center align them. So now it's in the dead center of each of the cells for the column headers. And that might look a little better for people. We also have a wrap text command. Let's say, let me see what we got over here. Say I made column N a little smaller as far as width goes. You can see that my hyperlinks are kind of overflowing into the other cells. That's because nothing is in these other cells right now, but if I was to say go to cell N3, I'm just going to type my name here, it becomes cut off. So when there's text in the cell, the previous cell that has, more text that can fit is just cut off. So I'm just going to add my name to all of these to show that to you. So it only overflows over when nothing is in the cells to the side. Now, instead of making my column larger, I can actually wrap the text to the next line. So if I have column N selected, in my alignment command group on my home tab, here I have my wrap text option. And that will bring all of the text to the next lines. It will make the row taller so all of the text can fit there. Now obviously you can see how that affects the rest of my document because it's going to add a lot of extra space to all of the other cells as well. All right, so be aware of that when you're using your wrap text command. Don't want it to affect too many cells here. Now, if we did that for, let's say, just our holiday schedule, let's say I had it like this, and I wanted to wrap text, I could make it a little larger so there's 2 lines of text there. And you can see that doesn't affect my column headers because I already have very large cells here. All right, so just be aware of what you're applying your wrap text command to when you're using it. All right, we also have orientation options, and if I select my, let's say my employee ID cell here, my orientation options are in my alignment group. It's this AB with the arrow drop down. You can angle your text clockwise. You can see it flows up horizontally. Sorry, that was counterclockwise. Angle clockwise, it flows down horizontally. Vertical text, you have to have a very large cell to be able to read this. We also have, pressing the wrong, rotate text up, flows up in a vertical straight line, and then we have rotate text down where it flows downwards. Okay, so you have a lot of different alignment options there. So if I wanted to do my whole column this way, sometimes it gives it a cool little effect. You may have to auto fit the contents so everything fits. You can see years with company was a large header there. But again, it adds, a little extra to it. So all of your text isn't just flat, reading a whole large bunch of data going straight across there. Lastly, in this section C, we have our merge and center options. Let's say I had a company title. I'm going to add a row above this. Let's go Insert, Sheet Rows. Now I have an empty row above my column headers. Let's add a couple of them so we can make a large title. Let's do 4. Now say I wanted a title for this. I could select cell A1 all the way through, let's say, 03. This is where my actual content ends. And in my alignment command group, here I have the option to merge and center these cells. This is going to take all of these cells that I have selected and combine them into one very large cell. And it's also going to center the text. So if I had my title here, you can see the text is automatically centered. I can make this larger. Oops. Make the text larger. Not too large. There we go. I can go ahead and change the font size. Let's do red. We can bold that out. So now my title spans across all of the columns in my spreadsheet. Again, and that is our merge and center. So now this cell here, this very, very large cell, is one cell now. This is just cell A1. All of the other cells are kind of like floating out in space somewhere. They're non-existent. But from this drop down, we also have the option to unmerge cells. And you can see it brings them back with that example title. It's so large that you can't see it. The text is so large, but it is there. All right. So again, you select all of your cells in the range that you want to merge together, and then merge and center, and you can make a title like this. It doesn't have to be a title. It can be merged for whatever reason, but it will create one cell out of your whole entire range.
Your next video will be Activity 4.3 on page 119.